They told you it was bad luck. They said it was the economy, the system, the government, your family, your circumstances, the cards you were dealt. But let me tell you something. Truth has no patience for excuses. You're not broke because the world is unfair. You're broke because you traded short-term comfort for long-term power. You're not stuck because of fate. You're stuck because discipline felt harder than regret. And the price for that trade is everything you were meant to become. Discipline is the bridge, the firewalk, the unforgiving mirror. It's the unspoken deal you make with the future in the silence of the present. And for most people, it's a price they refuse to pay. But not you, not anymore. Because something inside you already knows that there's more to this life than survival. That mediocrity is not your birthright. That laziness disguised as self-care is a slow death of potential. And that every dollar you lack, every goal you've postponed, every dream you've let fade into the background noise of comfort, was stolen not by circumstance, but by your own reluctance to choose discomfort on purpose. Let's get one thing clear. Success doesn't respond to intentions. It responds to behavior. It listens to effort, to sacrifice, to relentless action repeated when nobody's clapping. That's the price, and the cost of not paying it is far more devastating. There's a reason the few rise while the many complain. It's not a secret. It's not magic. It's not privilege. It's discipline, that ugly, unsexy, invisible force that builds empires behind the curtain. The reason a man with a vision and a calendar can outwork a genius with none. The reason someone with zero talent but a military-grade work ethic can outperform the naturally gifted who lack conviction. Henry Ford didn't wait for motivation. He rose before sunrise, driven by a vision that outpaced his exhaustion. Walt Disney mortgaged his future on ideas no one believed in. Carnegie spent his youth not at parties, but mastering steel and strategy. They weren't just successful, they were disciplined. That's what no one wants to tell you. Because discipline demands accountability. And accountability is a confrontation with every wasted hour, every broken promise to yourself. Every time you said, "I'll start on Monday," and meant never. Discipline is the parent that tells you the truth when everyone else coddles your mediocrity. It doesn't care how you feel, it only cares what you do. And until you learn to respect that law, you will stay broke. Not financially, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually bankrupt. Because when discipline dies, dreams rot. You want to win? Start waking up with purpose, not panic. Don't check your phone, check your mission. Rewrite your morning with intention. Own your calendar like your life depends on it, because it does. Stop negotiating with your lesser self every time the alarm rings. That snooze button is the gateway drug to failure. Because the truth is, you were never meant to be average. And average is not a financial status. It's a mindset, a routine, a surrender disguised as realism. Don't call it burnout when it's boredom from avoiding the work that matters. Don't call it anxiety when it's regret masquerading as stress. You're not lost. You're undisciplined. You've let your feelings vote when your values should be ruling. You've let comfort hijack your calendar. You've given impulse control of your destiny. But you can take it back. Right now. Let me say this loud for the people in the back. You don't need more money. You need more clarity. You don't need more time. You need fewer excuses. You don't need motivation. You need a standard you refuse to fall below. The moment you make discipline your identity, everything changes. Because discipline doesn't wait for permission. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't beg to be understood. It simply shows up. Again, and again, and again. Until the results have no choice but to arrive. That's the law of compound effort. The invisible deposits you make every day, even when it looks like nothing's happening. But just like seeds buried beneath the dirt, your effort is never wasted. It's just not ready, yet. And most people quit in the yet. They bail in the dark before the dawn. They doubt the soil and abandon the field. They trade 5 years of focus for 5 minutes of comfort. And then they wonder why they're broke, in every sense of the word. But not you. Not anymore. Because if you can learn to fall in love with the process, with the early mornings, the cold showers, the lonely reps, the ignored texts, the turned down distractions, then success becomes inevitable. Why? Because discipline doesn't negotiate with your mood. It moves with your mission. Because discipline doesn't negotiate with your mood. It moves with your mission. And your mission is not a suggestion. It's a contract, a sacred agreement between the person you are and the person you could become. If only you'd stop breaking promises to yourself. Every time you skip the gym, you vote for weakness. Every time you hit snooze, you cast a ballot for the life you said you didn't want. Every time you scroll past your purpose to numb your boredom, you choose distraction over destiny. But here's the truth most will never admit. No one is coming to save you. Not your parents, not your boss, not your partner. There is no cavalry. There is only you, and the mountain you either climb or let bury you. And you don't need another podcast. You don't need another book. You don't need another mentor or mastermind or morning affirmation. You need action, relentless, boring, beautiful, unglamorous action. You know what broke is? It's not a lack of money. It's waking up without a plan. It's checking your bank account more than your belief system. It's numbing out instead of leveling up. Being broke is a reflection of decisions made in the dark, of standards lowered just enough to fit in, of silent negotiations with mediocrity that became habit. But if you can be the kind of person who works even when it's quiet, even when it's hard, even when no one claps, even when no one sees, then you become dangerous. Because now you don't need motivation to move. You don't need applause to perform. You don't need validation to believe. You just do the work. Rain or shine, loved or hated, tired or energized. Because this isn't about how you feel today. It's about who you're becoming tomorrow. You think Thomas Edison felt inspired every time he failed? Try over 1,000 failed attempts at the light bulb before getting it right. 1,000 no's before the world said yes. But he kept showing up. Because discipline outlasts doubt. And while most people are busy searching for passion, the winners are building it, one choice at a time. Passion isn't found. It's forged. In the gym, in the silence, in the rejection, in the repetition. Discipline is love in action. Love for your future self. Love for your potential. Love for your calling. And when you love something enough, you stop negotiating with laziness. You stop needing perfect conditions. You stop saying, "I'm not ready," because deep down, you realize you'll never feel ready, but you can choose to act ready. And that choice, that's where the shift begins. That's where power lives, where clarity sharpens, where momentum multiplies, because discipline is the great multiplier. It takes average and makes it excellent. It takes talent and turns it into transformation. It takes you from broke and buried in excuses to unstoppable. But you must decide. Will you keep feeding the version of you that wants comfort? Or will you starve it and feed the one that wants greatness? Will you keep pretending your problem is outside of you? Or will you admit that the real war is within? Because that's where every battle is fought. In the moment you decide to rise or return to the couch, to grow or scroll, to show up or give in. And the voice that wins is the one you listen to most. So what are you feeding? Your hunger or your hesitation? You're not broke. You're distracted. You're not unworthy. You're undisciplined. You're not lost. You're just not committed yet. But you can change that right now. Not in January, not on Monday, not when Mercury's out of retrograde. Now, this breath, this moment, this decision. Draw the line, burn the backup plan, cancel the negotiation, and walk, no, run, into the version of you that doesn't flinch at discipline, who wakes up before the sun because comfort doesn't raise kings, who writes the book, makes the calls, lifts the weight, builds the brand, because they said they would, not because it's fun, Because it's required. That's what separates the ones who rise from the ones who wait, from the ones who whisper, one day, as they shrink inside the echo chamber of hesitation. But not you, because now you see it. The only thing standing between you and the life you want is 1,000 tiny choices you keep pretending don't matter. But they do. Everything matters. How you spend your morning, how you speak to yourself, what you tolerate, what you refuse to let slide. That's the compound interest of discipline. It adds up when no one's looking, and it explodes when the world least expects it. So let them doubt you, let them misunderstand you, let them laugh, scroll past, dismiss. They won't be laughing when your name is carved in stone, when your life is the proof, when your bank account, your energy, your freedom screams, I earned this. And you will, if you stay the course, if you let discipline, not dopamine, be your daily bread. If you let discipline, not dopamine, be your daily bread, because dopamine fades. It's the sugar rush of validation, of likes, of comfort, of one more episode. But discipline builds dynasties. It's what built the pyramids and launched rockets. It's what drove Mandela through prison, Roosevelt through polio, and Lincoln through a nation divided. It's what pulled generations out of war and into legacy. Not the trending audio, not the life hacks, not the quick wins, but the daily, deliberate grind of a soul obsessed with becoming more. And it's in you, waiting, buried beneath procrastination, numbed by distractions, but still there. That part of you that knows you were built for more, that whispers to you when the world gets quiet. This isn't it. Don't settle, don't stop. You don't need a miracle. You need to get serious. You need to get consistent. You need to be willing to look foolish, to be misunderstood, to start over for the 10th time and not quit. Because the truth is, discipline is not just about grind, it's about honor. Honoring the dream, honoring the work, honoring the fact that you were given breath today, while millions weren't. And you think you're tired? Try building the Brooklyn Bridge in 1869 with your hands, rope, and dynamite. Try crossing the country on foot with no GPS, just a compass and conviction. You live in the most convenient, connected, customizable world in human history, and you're still saying, I don't have time. Time is not the problem. You've got 24 hours like Oprah, like Musk, like Jobs, like every person who ever moved history forward. The only difference is what you do with it. And if you keep handing your time to things that drain you, you don't get to complain about being empty. If you keep handing your time to people who don't believe in you, don't be surprised when you forget what belief even feels like. Time is not money. Time is life. And every hour you spend in avoidance, in fear, in half-effort, is an hour you never get back. You want wealth, discipline. You want purpose? Discipline. You want to feel proud when you look in the mirror? Discipline. It's the root of everything. And until you grab it by the throat, until you say enough to the excuses that seduced you for years, you will never know what you're truly capable of. But the moment you do, the moment you say, this is the standard now, you become unstoppable. Because now you're not just working on your dream, you're protecting it. Like a mother bear guards her cub, like a general defends the mission, like a warrior walks into battle not hoping to win, but refusing to lose. That's the energy. Not I'll try, not I hope, not maybe next month, but this is who I am now. And when that identity gets locked in, when disciplined becomes not something you do, but something you are, everything shifts. You stop skipping workouts. You stop rationalizing failure. You stop lying to yourself. Because now, anything less than full effort feels foreign. It feels wrong. Because now you know what alignment feels like. Now you've tasted integrity. And once you've tasted integrity, mediocrity makes you sick. So if you're tired of being broke, then stop looking for money and start looking for mastery. Stop blaming your income and start fixing your input. Stop watching others win and start earning your win. Because the game was never rigged. It was just waiting for you to show up like you meant it. And if you don't, if you keep waiting for the perfect moment, if you keep making tired your personality, if you keep defaulting to distraction every time life gets inconvenient, then you'll look back at 70 and wonder where it all went. You'll have memories full of almosts, a calendar full of wasted potential, and a heart heavy with the burden of what could have been. Don't let that be your story. Let this be your origin point. Let today be the chapter that changes the book, where you stop letting your lower self write the script, where you fire your inner critic and hire your inner warrior. Because yes, the world is hard. Yes, the system is flawed. Yes, you've been hurt, lied to, underestimated, knocked down, but none of that is stronger than the fire still burning in your chest. You can rise. You can rebuild. You can outwork every lie that ever tried to shrink you. You just have to want it bad enough to bleed for it, to sacrifice for it, to wake up early, to stay late, to be misunderstood, to walk alone, to sweat when others sleep. Because greatness doesn't come with a participation trophy. It only comes to those willing to pay for it. And if that's you, if you're done playing small, if you're ready to walk into the fire and forge a new version of yourself, then remember this: you were never broke. You were just undisciplined. You were never broke. You were just undisciplined. But now, you see the truth. You feel it like a storm breaking behind your ribs. The fire is back. The excuses are dead. And in their place stands a version of you the world has never met, but was always waiting for. The version that doesn't flinch, that doesn't stall, that doesn't let fear sit in the driver's seat. Because once you've touched discipline, you begin to understand something sacred, that you don't rise in spite of the struggle. You rise because of it. You don't run from resistance. You become resistance. You become the pressure. You become the force that shapes reality, not the one shaped by it. The winds of life can howl. The world can doubt. But when you are grounded in discipline, real discipline, you are immovable. Because you've made peace with pain. You've shaken hands with sacrifice. You've buried comfort so deep, not even nostalgia can dig it up again. And now, you walk differently. You speak differently. There's weight in your voice, conviction in your eyes. You are no longer begging the world for scraps. You are building a feast from nothing, because you refuse to keep starving yourself with softness. Do you understand what that means? It means that success is not a surprise, it's scheduled. It means that purpose isn't found, it's forged in fire. It means that your greatness isn't out there. It's in here, waiting for you to stop making excuses and start making moves. Every early morning you hated but did anyway was chiseling you into something rare. Every moment you wanted to quit but didn't was wiring your soul for resilience. And now you're not just chasing dreams. You're earning them. You're not wishing. You're working. While others wait for luck, you create leverage. While others wait for signs, you become the signal. You are no longer living at the mercy of circumstance. You are writing your name on reality itself. That is what discipline does. It gives you authorship over your life. No more rewrites, no more edits by fear, no more red ink from critics who've never built anything themselves. You are the pen now. You are the hammer. You are the architect, the warrior, the king and queen of your future. So walk with pride, work with fire, love with intensity, serve with strength, and build with everything you have, because the clock is ticking and time does not honor the uncommitted. The world is not waiting. It never was. But the best version of you still is. And today, you either rise to meet them or you don't. No more in between. No more lukewarm. No more kind of trying. Let your life be the loudest proof. Let your efforts silence every doubt. Let your discipline be so ruthless, so relentless, so unstoppable that the world finally understands. You were never broke. You were just getting started.